Coming up on Focal Point.
This is the time we must come together as Michiganders.
Michigan stays home to slow the spread of COVID-19, including our mom.
She's used to working in a busy OBGYN clinic. Now it's just her in her kitchen. My mom's transformation coming up.
Coming up on Focal Point, I get to tell the story this week of my mom. Now, while she's already been teaching violin lessons for over half of her life, this week she's doing it out of her home in a whole new way.
Some stay home and some give back.
I'll show you how one Canton Township woman is serving her community right from her own front yard.
COVID-19 has caused PPE shortages everywhere. Coming up, learn how one woman is using her business to lay down quilts and sew up masks.
It's a slice of life living with a new normal. Focal Point starts now.
Hello and welcome to Focal Point. I'm Michaela Temple. 11 days. That's how long the state of Michigan has been in lockdown to slow the spread of COVID-19. 11 days since Governor Gretchen Whitmer ordered all schools and non-essential businesses to close. And 11 days of Michiganders being asked to stay home as much as possible. This dance studio is a perfect example of the new normal. It's usually packed in here 6 nights of the week, but now it's empty. Let's take a look at how we got here and what this lockdown means.
This is the time we must come together as Michiganders. If we stay home except for essential work and essential needs, we can each be a part of making the difference here.
Closed businesses and workers without jobs are setbacks for the economy. But as David Greenberg tells us, the federal government has a plan that could put some of those lost earnings back in our wallets. David?
We all know the coronavirus has put millions of Americans out of work or on hold. The Trump administration has signed a massive relief program, and Americans could be seeing that money soon. The biggest in history. With the swift stroke of a pen, President Trump signed the more than $2 trillion stimulus bill into law.
Good. I wanted that to be a nice signature. I want to thank Republicans and Democrats for coming together, setting aside their differences, and putting America first.
The motion is adopted.
With help on the way, Wall Street surged. The Dow rose nearly 13% last week, its best week since 1938.
The goal here is simple. Stay home, stay safe, save lives.
With governors continuing to issue statewide quarantines, unemployment skyrocketed.
3.2 million Americans who filed for unemployment last week alone.
The bill offers individuals a one-time cash payment of up to $1,200. It expands unemployment insurance to 39 weeks, boosting benefits by $600 per week through July.
This is a great plan.
$500 billion in loans for big businesses, nearly $400 billion in loans and grants for small businesses, and medical relief for hospitals.
This bill is not perfect, no bill ever is, but it is the strong medicine we need to defeat this invisible enemy.
For more on who this money specifically is helping, let's send it over to Ian Gilmore in Lake Orion.
David, that stimulus money is designed to help a lot of people that are out of work at the moment, but there's still so many Americans who are working around the clock, including those on the front lines, the healthcare workers, and one of them is my mother. Patty Gilmore usually isn't cooking in her kitchen at 10 a.m. on a weekday, or doing laundry, or playing with her dog. But this is her new normal.
What they're doing is they're flexing down our hours.
Like millions of Americans, she is now considered a non-essential employee.
We're lucky we remain employed. However, we have to use all of our vacation time up, and then we are eligible to apply for unemployment.
This will be her last day at work without knowing when she can go back. There are a lot of unknowns.
Not knowing what's in store, even really not knowing what's in store as I go into where I'm working today.
Today, at a local hospital.
I think the most concern is knowing how long this is going on. And nobody has an answer to that. But all you can do is take it day by day and hope and pray for the best.
And after a long 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. shift for the final time...
I'm not sad. I feel bad for the next wave of people, and I hope they stay safe. But I think if I have to go through what I have to go through, it's a good time to be doing it. If I gotta head out, I'm getting out at the right time. Hey, Kizzy.
Patty sees the good in all of this, though.
Having time to actually take care of myself a little bit in terms of having time to work out and do some of the things that are hard to fit into a 40-hour-a-week schedule sometimes. I've done this job for 33 years and never seen anything like this. It's just an interesting time, and you just have to try and stay positive and get through it. Be safe.
Be safe indeed, and we all will be continuing the stay home and stay safe practice, even Gizmo. And as Focal Point's Brianna Idzior tells us, her mother has found a new use for an old TV tray.
You're right, Anne. Employees in all different fields of work are now getting the job done while sitting on the couch with a TV tray. The stay-at-home order has sent all non-essential employees into self-quarantine, including my mother. But while she's off the clock, she's been cooking up some fun inside.
Not many people have the luxury of working from home. But the last few weeks of everyday life have been not so ordinary. Stephanie Idzior is among many who are in self-quarantine. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, some adjustments are being made to daily life. The main adjustment is staying inside.
I am the office manager at a large OBGYN practice here in Michigan, and right now we are greatly affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. I am working from home.
But she isn't just staying home for herself.
Right now we are headed to my parents' house. They're elderly.
But rather for those that she loves.
I go every day, drop off a care package. We call it Meals on Wheels. I miss you guys. It's all I can do right now because they can't go out and do any shopping.
However, in these uncertain times, there is one thing that keeps her spirits up.
In my spare time, I am an avid cook and food blogger. I enjoy Instagram, talking to other home chefs about their recipes. There's nothing more relaxing for me than just grabbing an ingredient, not even necessarily having a recipe, and just thinking about what I can make out of that and creating something beautiful out of 3, 4, 5 ingredients.
So even when the world may seem sour, there is always something to make it sweet.
It's one thing to be making cookies at home, but it's another to be managing a restaurant at a time when no one's allowed into that restaurant. Gabby Malta is in East Lansing with the story of a new restaurant that barely opened before the entire Michigan State campus left town.
Brianna, that restaurant sits right across the street from campus. Snap Pizza strategy, take it one day at a time.
So really just trying to stay positive and confident.
He clocks in to cope.
I'm definitely consider myself somewhat of an optimist.
Dan Chalet finds himself in a new state, opening a new restaurant called Snap Pizza in East Lansing.
We did Ann Arbor in the summer and now here, so it's been very fun.
And then, almost immediately, fun turned into something no one has ever seen, the coronavirus pandemic. It shut down Michigan State University first. The 50,000 students Dan hoped to see disappeared.
Our main goal as a company is just kind of keep trucking and power through it and come out stronger on the other side.
For now,
as of right now, yeah, I'm by myself.
When he's not at work, he goes home.
It's a 3-bedroom apartment, Airbnb.
And catches up with family in Pennsylvania.
Most of them are not working right now, which is unfortunate.
Staying connected.
My sister and I FaceTime every night.
Makes home not feel so far away. Passing the time can be hard when there's nowhere to go and nothing to do.
The uncertainty and the unknown is really the biggest thing that I think is concerning people.
Dan uses this time
as an opportunity rather than just be like, oh man, this sucks.
His way of coping is clocking in.
They're trying to take it day by day.
And setting an example for his employees.
I started freaking out about this in front of everyone, then everyone, it's a trickle down. They start freaking out.
Work is like an outlet.
I've got objectives that I'm constantly thinking of.
But now Dan is keeping Snap open.
We're looking into doing free delivery.
He hopes to have another chance at a real grand opening soon.
We're open now, we're doing this, I'm gonna keep that.
For Dan and his crew, going to work feels like normalcy right now when everything else isn't, like graduating seniors trying to find a job.
So much has been taken away from college seniors. Their last 2 months of school, graduation, the general joy of being a college student. And that's right, Gabby, you can add one more thing to that list: getting a job. Gloria Kobler has time on her hands.
I started a garden on my balcony. So I'm growing vegetables and herbs.
And like most college seniors, the job hunt has taken a front seat.
I've probably applied to over 300 jobs on LinkedIn, Handshake, and Indeed.
300 jobs in the international relations field since September. It doesn't help that she lost her part-time job on the Michigan State campus.
Work at MSU's immigration office. Well, sort of work, kind of just lost that.
Gloria was looking forward to landing interviews for a new job after graduation.
Instead of going through the interview, they said, we want to tell you personally, but we can no longer go forward. We're now in a hiring freeze. Everything's up in the air.
Email after email telling her things are on hold. But what hurt Gloria the most was watching a job offer vanish.
They had to resend that. I hadn't even made the decision yet.
It's not just people like Gloria who feel stuck. Bosses know it too.
Most companies are really holding off right now.
But bosses like Rhonda Lavelle at Channel 7 in Detroit say they're still willing to talk and listen to potential employees.
We would be straightforward and just tell them that, hey, we probably aren't, hiring now, but we still just want to talk to people.
But just talking isn't enough for Gloria. Her time at Michigan State is almost over.
I kind of just stopped applying for 2 or 3 days because I just, to be honest, was a little depressed about the whole situation. Graduating in a month and, you have a lot of bills and you need a way to pay them.
She's not giving up though. She's applied for 100 jobs in the past 3 weeks.
I'm trying to keep myself busy with just going through page after page on LinkedIn looking for the right keywords.
Until the next job offer, she'll be at home sewing away. The economy will certainly be affected, but for these seniors, they hope to have jobs as quick as the end of their college careers. Now over to Joe Freihofer in Grand Rapids.
Yes, Sam, all of us here in Michigan have to start getting used to working from home. So this gives me the chance to tell the story of my mom. Now, while she's already been working from home for over half of her life, this week, she's grabbing life by the bow and taking on a whole new challenge of her own.
Just like every Monday, the living room fills with sound, thanks to a few young violinists and their teacher. And the usual furry audience gets comfy for a long day of lessons ahead. But today, her students won't be coming in through the front door like usual.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Doing all right. Give me just a minute. I'm almost set up.
After welcoming students to her home for over half of her life,
Probably since the age of 21, so that's 34 years.
today, Caroline Freihofer will only see them on a screen. At least, depending on the connection.
Hi, guys. Hi. Hi, there you are. Hi, how are you? Good, how are you? Hi, Gabe.
Remote violin lessons.
Now I have to describe every little bit, and it's more challenging. Can you turn again so I can see your gorgeous position? You have to come around. It's pretty awkward with the 3, but it gives a nice vibrato. The bottom octave is the difficult one, isn't it?
From bowl holds to B flat major scales, it's that human connection that can't be replaced.
Oh, up here? I got this in the mail from one of my students. I actually teach her and her little brother, who's 3, so he only gets a lesson when he's in the mood for it. But it says, "Dear Mrs. Freihofer, we love you and miss you," which I loved.
After playing for the Grand Rapids Symphony for over 30 years and starting a family,
Just very gratifying. I love it.
she hopes that connection we all desire can come back once again.
Gee, I hope so. I hope this summer I'm playing in the symphony and seeing my colleagues and students are walking in the door, but we'll just take it as it comes. Who knows?
Now, the Grand Rapids Symphony has announced they have canceled all concerts through May 10th. As for switching back to in-person lessons, my mom plans to follow the same guidelines as Governor Whitmer and the United States government, trying to flatten the curve and wait until school resumes before she brings the students back here to the house. We'll take a quick break here on Focal Point, but be right back after this.
Welcome back to Focal Point. It's been almost 2 weeks since Governor Gretchen Whitmer announced the stay-at-home order. This has impacted restaurants, retail stores, school districts, and now it could affect essential workers who have children.
It's an unusually quiet afternoon at Share My Daycare in southern Michigan.
It's very weird. I've never had this much time off at one time. I've been doing this for 24 years.
Carrie Scherer has never taken more than a week off from running her daycare. Until now.
It sounded good at first because I thought, well, I'll get to rest a little bit and not hear all the noise for a while, but it's actually not what it's cracked up to be. I think I'd rather be working.
And Carrie doesn't know when that will be. She'll be closed until the stay-at-home order is lifted.
It's really a hard decision to make when you've done it so long and you know that your business is going to suffer immediately from it. But it really is more important to stay healthy and alive than to worry about that.
The daycare is like home away from home for Carly Hovius's daughter.
I wouldn't have any, issues really sending her back. I'd be very happy to send her back because she loves going and she loves being around all the kids and the workers too.
Carly and her husband are working from home now.
I'm just grateful, honestly, to have these moments with her and see her kind of grow and, develop. And because normally she'd just be at daycare and I would, see her at the end of the day or something.
They can't wait for their daughter to be able to enjoy daycare again. But until then,
Ooh, that looks so pretty.
They'll cherish this time together.
Now, I did find daycares in the area that are still open. I spoke with the executive director at ABC Academy, and she told me it would break her heart to close. She said they're following proper guidelines like washing hands, checking temperatures, smaller classroom sizes, and sending anyone home if they show symptoms. Now, from toddlers to high schoolers, this lockdown is impacting education at every level. Hikaru Kudo is in Novi, where one school district is staying connected outside the classroom.
Kaylee, it's not just child care centers that are struggling. Since schools are closed, students and staff feel disconnected. But one teacher in Novi decided to reconnect.
This is a school day and a work day, but the roads are empty. Malls, offices, and schools are closed.
Students and faculty feel disconnected, but one Novi High School teacher is trying to change that.
I found myself trying to interact a little bit more with Twitter.
French teacher Nicholas Letarte feels reconnected.
Twitter seems to be the mainstream for how the Novi community is communicating.
He's talking about hashtag Novi Together, where the entire school community can join together online. And within this online community came a suggestion.
A young lady named Cassidy, I think she just tweeted at me and just mentioned me in it and was like, hey, why don't we do something like that where kids submit videos?
So that is what he did, and with all the videos, he created a lip dub.
I got a lot of emails. We also shared it on Facebook, so a lot of people made comments on Facebook.
With over 4,000 views, he's bringing joy to students and connecting at a time when we feel disconnected.
It's very possible that kids in the community or staff members, they might not have great home environments. They might be by themselves. So these little things that we're doing, I think, do help people stay connected.
Hashtag Novi Together is continuing to connect students and staff on Twitter. But what about neighbors in real life? Katie Brecky takes us to a Canton neighborhood that takes curb service to a whole new level.
Hey, Carl, we're getting used to curbside pickup at grocery stores and restaurants. But in this neighborhood, you might be able to find what you're looking for without having to drive very far. And that's all thanks to one good neighbor.
School's closed, park's quiet, and there's no rush in rush hour.
I wanted to do something for others that, maybe couldn't or didn't have the means to do.
But Jill Cochran has been busy.
I woke up Sunday morning and I thought, there's people in need. I'm very blessed. I'm working full time. My husband's retired.
Busy with this, a folding table she set up out front of her Canton home, filled with...
There's dinner items, soaps, coloring books, crayons. We've had formula and wipes, canned food.
Things like produce for people who might not be able to make a trip to the store.
Anybody who needs it, and I just want the word to get out so that, people will stop by.
She got the word out through Facebook.
Tons of comments, probably 1,300 likes. I'm just hoping that people will see that, and if they know anybody that needs anything, to feel free and swing by.
And people have done just that.
I did have another lady stop by last night and give me wipes for diapers, so that was so nice, yeah.
Cochran knows these aren't the best of times, but she wants to make life a little easier for someone.
And if we can help anybody, whether it's one person or 10 people, 100 people, that's great.
Cochran says she's keeping her table open for as long as this crisis continues. Now, from one act of kindness to another, Morgan Durden shows us how one woman is changing her business to help those on the front lines.
From Cochran's donation table to distilleries creating hand sanitizer, communities across America are coming together in this time of crisis. Charlotte Horton, a businesswoman from Mason, is using her skills to sew up some protection.
I just wanted to be able to find a way to help.
Charlotte Horton left her career 2 years ago to raise a family.
I used to be in the healthcare field for 13 years.
Just last year, she started a company called Busy Bee Creations.
Busy Bee Creations does custom home decor, special occasion hats, and long arm quilting.
Her business continues to grow, but the coronavirus pandemic changed her. She's quit quilting for now and started sewing masks. The increasing number of coronavirus cases has caused mask shortages across the nation. That's when Charlotte thought she could help.
And I am no seamstress. Quilting people seem to think that if you can quilt, you can sew. That's not the same thing. So some of the patterns were really overwhelming. And I just picked the simplest one. And I just went with it.
She is asking interested people to message her privately on Facebook. She gives them her address. They can pick them up on a rack outside her house. No charge.
I've had people from supermarkets. I've had people that are working, in restaurants in the drive-thrus that are still open. Pick them up.
Some days, all she does is sew. The other day, she made 33. Charla says life is a balancing act right now, especially with her health condition.
This is quite terrifying to be an asthmatic and know that if I get this, even though I'm young and I'm pretty much healthy, that, I could get really sick. And there might not be a ventilator for me.
This businesswoman uses her fear as motivation.
People are scared, and this is just a way that they can have some security knowing that they have this mask and, they can go out into public if they have to.
Charla has handed out over 150 masks. If you or someone you know in the Mason-Lansing area would like one, you can message her on Facebook at Busy Bee Creations. She's also accepting material donations.
It's fun to dream of things we wish we had. A dream car, dream vacation, anything is possible. So imagine what it's like getting your dream job, but having it be put on hold. How would you feel?
All right, let's get one more good one. Hopefully I can hit it right back at you.
It's the sound baseball fans have been missing. Yeah, sounds about right. David Vinsky wishes he could help those fans, and himself. In 3 seasons at Northwood University in Midland, Michigan, he set records in hits, doubles, and batting average. The St. Louis Cardinals drafted him in the 15th round in 2019. Then, life threw him a curveball.
We reported to spring training March 11th, and I was there for one whole day, and then we got our physicals, and then the next day they sent us home. So,
one day at his dream job, one day in spring training.
We were pretty upset about it just because, we worked hard for 6 months. Our off season is 6 months long, and, this is really the only thing we have to look forward to.
Like most everything, the coronavirus ended spring training and left Vinsky without a job.
Like I said, I'm lucky enough to have parents who support me still.
Luckily for David, he doesn't have to go out to get a part-time job because his family can still support him. But for some of the guys that have been around in the minors for a long time, they can't afford to strike out.
It really affects them because, if this is their only job, they're going to be forced to go look for other jobs to support, their family or their kids. That was better.
With spring training canceled, Vinsky lost his opportunity to learn from some of the game's best.
Oh, no! Yadier Molina, who's been in the league for almost 20 years, we would have been able to talk to him and, pick his brain, pick any big leaguer's brain on just, how they go about their life.
Vinsky will keep working hard. He's not about to give up on his dream.
And that's all she wrote.
One can only hope that baseball is played this summer. And if and when that time comes, you can bet that Vinsky will be ready. Finally, from the baseball diamond to inside the dance studio, Focal Point's Michaela Temple has more on that story.
From professional athletes who've been training their whole lives to kids who have only been training for a few years. Both have seen their practice time and seasons come to a complete stop. But for kids at this dance studio in Lansing, the show still goes on.
Normally, Evie Cook would be here every single night.
Yeah, it's super boring.
And she certainly wouldn't use the word boring when she talks about dancing. But this isn't normal.
Normally the sound of 50 kids practicing their dance routines drowns out the music in here, but not today. Dance City West in Lansing has found a way during the coronavirus pandemic to keep their students practicing while stuck at home.
This is what it used to look like every day before the studio shut down. But since no one knows how long this quarantine is going to last,
I have a little tiny floor that I do tap on.
To the left,
Online classes are the new way to practice.
One more time.
Parents like Monica Call think it's a good idea to keep her dancer in shape.
We went to do the A2 Fit workout because she's used to being in the studio 3 to 4 hours, 4 to 5 times a week. She had already was a little bit out of shape. So just to keep their level up to where it should be and not lose any of their technique or their flexibility, and to be able to even just remember the simple dances.
But practicing at home isn't always easy.
I can't do any of the tricks that are in my dances because there's just not enough space.
The dog's always like, "What are you doing? Let me smell you," while you're trying to do stuff.
It's just not the same as dancing in the studio.
I'm used to seeing everyone like every day and having fun dancing with them, and now I'm just not having as much fun.
For now, Mackenzie and her dance team are making the best of an incredible situation. And one thing is for sure, they won't quit dancing. Even if it is in their living room for a while, and not in the studio. Dance City West will continue online classes for its competitive team throughout the remainder of the season, or until it's safe to return to classrooms again. Experts say the coronavirus is spreading faster in Detroit than nearly anywhere else in the United States. That number is expected to peak in Michigan within the next few weeks. This means more social distancing, staying home from work and school, and finding new ways to stay connected to each other. As we all move forward, Focal Point will be here for you. I'm Michaela Temple. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.